Hello, dear soul, and welcome to the Lightbearer's Library. In today's journal entry, I wanted to talk about feeling hurt and maybe one way that we can start to shift that hurt in our own life. Now, for me, I've been dealing with this feeling of hurt around my family in the last couple of years, and it's been difficult. It's been difficult because it's as I've said in previous videos, it's kind of layered on top of feeling lonely. You know, my husband and I have been self-employed for a decade and have moved around a lot, so we don't have a lot of friends. And then we moved to southern Alberta to be close to my family. And needless to say, it didn't work out the way that I had hoped. And you know, having grown apart from my family over the last 20 years, it coming back together is like realizing how different we all are. And so I've felt some hurt over the last couple of years that is maybe not necessary for me to have gone through if I had had a different perspective and a different lens. So one thing that I've learned over the last 6-7 months is about personality type. And that's why I talk about it a lot on this channel, because it's been a really helpful framework for me to help work through the hurt that I felt in the past couple of years around my family. And I guess I didn't finish that thought earlier of why it's so painful with my family is because I didn't have friends. So I moved to have at least family be a part of my life. And so that didn't work either. So I'm feeling lonely on top of hurt and trying to walk through this with as much, awareness and self-love and trying to heal and not become a victim and not shut myself off from the world and, harden and just be angry and, whatever. So I'm trying to just, walk through this. So I thought I'd share some of my thoughts with you today, because I know there's a lot of hurt out there and maybe we can help one another and walk through it a little bit with one another. So, I guess I'll share my thoughts about personality type as a framework for walking through hurt. So in the Myers-Briggs system, the MBTI system of personality type, which stems from Carl Jung, there are 16 different personality types, if you're not familiar. If you are, I'm an INFP, and so it's one of the smaller percentage personality types in the population, and they're quite sensitive types. So I just thought it was me, and realizing that that's part of the personality type that I am has made me feel like, oh, okay, and that there's tools for helping me to grow and to not feel so battered and bruised in this world that we live in. And so what personality type has really helped me to, it might be completely like duh kind of thinking, but firstly, it helps me to see that I see the world very differently from most of the people around me. And I think that's just been so helpful, because sometimes I'm like, I don't understand why people don't value this, or why they think that, or why they do that. And so personality type helps me to have a framework that says, okay, well, they have different ways of perceiving the world and of making judgments about their world. And so that's always going to lead to lots of different perspectives, which is so wonderful, right? And we need lots of different perspectives to help us, thrive as a civilization. And I think that's really beautiful when we, celebrate that. So how it's helped me walk through hurt, though, is to kind of look at my family members and do my best. Like, there's certain family members that I'm sure what type they are, and when I read about their type and learn about their type and try and understand, like, get inside of their mind, how they see the world, how they make decisions about the world, it's been kind of like a really big revelation. It's kind of like I knew that they obviously see the world differently than me because they make different decisions, but understanding how they are making decisions makes me feel so much more love and empathy, have so much more love and empathy for them, and to realize that they can't necessarily, see the world any differently than they do. And when I feel hurt by the way that they, make judgments or something, or things they say, like, it's not fair for me to be angry with them or hold that against them, I guess, is where I'm kind of at. It doesn't necessarily change the feelings inside of me of the pain and the hurt, but it's been a way of understanding. And as I've said in a previous video, I can't remember the quote now because I didn't write it down for this journal entry, but Thich Nhat Hanh says that love is about understanding one another, and if we don't understand one another, then we can't love one another. So I think what the process with the deep hurt within me has helped me to do is to try to understand others in my family. And I think we can all do this, even if we do this in some way or another. I think we can get better at doing it, is trying to, I guess what I've kind of been seeing it as is just pulling, this is kind of a different thought, I guess. It's I'm feeling like in order to heal from this hurt and move on, it's like my first step was understanding that they looked at the world differently, and to honor that and to say, that's okay. And then the second step is to really get to know my own type and my own way of looking at the world, and how INFPs look at the world is through a cognitive function. There's 8 cognitive functions that we all have, but they're just in a different order. So we use some way more than others. And INFPs use introverted feeling, which is all about authenticity is kind of a word that is used to describe it. It's all about values and values. So I've come to really try to have some deep knowledge and understanding about what I value and what is important to me, and then to say, okay, in order to live my life and not feel hurt by things, it's like I can recognize that I have these deep values and this is how I choose to live my life, but it might mean that it might lead to, alienation from my family because they don't value those things. So I guess I get to stand in that and say, I'm holding on to what I value, and that's me loving myself. And while also seeing that the things that they value are also valuable to them, even if they're not my values. Does that, I think that's kind of where I'm at, is allowing them to value something that I don't value and saying it's going to be different than that. So it helps me to kind of intellectually understand the why I'm feeling hurt. Now, it doesn't necessarily stop the feelings of being hurt. So where I'm at now is, as INFPs, we can use a different function, which is introverted sensing, which is also known as memory. And we can spin the memories of the hurt over and over and over again. We replay the hurt and bring up all the emotions and the pain, not as a way of being like, as like, like flagellating ourselves or self-hurting, like a way of hurting ourselves, but it's just kind of like how our minds work. And so trying to what I'm trying to do is trying to calm that replay, those stories. And I'm kind of seeing it as a visualizing of like pulling my energy back towards myself from that, the hurt of that person, from the stories, just trying to reel it back in and bring that energy and attention, turn it away from and for you it might be events that have happened or people that have hurt you, or or things that you've done that have caused you to feel bad about yourself in some way. It doesn't matter, but I'm trying to invite us to stop replaying the stories over and over again and bring our attention back to ourselves. And I think that's where I'm at, because I get caught in these retelling the story and wanting to, I think part of me wants to like stand up for myself, to like, sometimes it feels like they judged me harshly, and I want to stand up for myself and say, well, these are the reasons why, or whatever it is. Like, so we're coming up with things that we might want to say to them. And I think it's a waste of my time and my energy, because it's just kind of been going through my mind for the last year or two, and it's not helped. It doesn't help. So I'm trying to cut that off whenever I start thinking about them or thinking about the hurt. And so I've for the moment cut myself off a little bit from relationship with them, because it's not, I'm only hurting myself by trying to have a relationship with them when they've clearly made it clear that they don't really appreciate me being in their life. So that's okay, right? We are all individuals, and we don't necessarily always get along with everyone, right? And that's okay, but sometimes it hurts. So I guess that's kind of where I'm at, is just trying to be present with myself, to love myself, to change my focus. And that's kind of why I started this YouTube channel, was I wanted to change my focus and shift my energy away from the hurt of the stories and put my energy into something that's creative and hopefully helpful to other people, and just gets my thoughts out of my head and try to clear them out, clear them up a little bit and put words to them. Because as INFPs, our first dominant function of introverted feeling is very wordless. It's feelings and values. And so by putting words to that, it's really important. So I think I would also offer journaling as a way of getting it out onto paper, out of our heads, so that the stories aren't in there spinning around and around. Okay. Well, that might not have been completely, a list of things to do if you're feeling hurt or sad, but it's kind of where I'm at with my own journey of feeling hurt. And so if you're in the same kind of place, I really honor you for looking for a way to walk through it and to heal and to grow from it. And I think that's all we can ever do, is to just do our best to just keep putting one step in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. And yeah, so if this has resonated with you and you want to be a part of the Lightbearers library, I would love you to subscribe. I would love you to comment below if I'm spitting here. I would love you to comment below if you're dealing with some hurt, if you're an INFP and this is resonating with you, please share. I would love to connect with you in the comments. Okay, dear soul. Well, I wish you many, many blessings today, and may your heart be at peace today, and we'll talk soon. Signing off for now. XOXO, Kate.